Skrill boys, TGTM Vids, a direct is nearly here. That time of the year again, huh? Yes, welcome back to another signature Skrill Boys TGTM Vids Nintendo Direct predictions video. Now, why am I making one without there being a Nintendo Direct tomorrow? Well, a little birdie told me, more specifically, a credible leaker on the internet, specifically Twitter, is saying that we're going to get a Nintendo Direct soon. Specifically, uh, next week. And he followed up this claim with him showing a tweet in which it was a picture of the of the USA flag and as a background and a leaf just opposed to that background. This has led people to think that this is supposed to be referencing the US release date of Animal Crossing New Leaf because Leaf, there's only like one franchise that seemingly has a connection to a Leaf, that being Animal Crossing. And Animal Crossing New Leaf released here in the USA on June 9th. And so this has led people to speculate that there will be a Nintendo Direct June 9th. Now, something to take note here is that this happens after Summer Games Fest, which is going to be happening tomorrow on Friday. If you're probably watching this on Friday, then it's today, or whenever you're watching this, it's already passed, or it's not yet happened yet. So this could mean that if there's a Nintendo Direct next week, then there will be no major Nintendo announcements at Summer Game Fest. Because historically, ever since SGF's invention, Nintendo's never really been a major participant in it. But you can maybe expect some of the Summer Game Fest announcements to appear in the Nintendo Direct that is supposedly happening next week on June 9th, which is a Tuesday. And so, since people have an idea of when, and also the possibility that there will be no major Nintendo announcements at Summer Games Fest tomorrow, yet again, depending on when you're watching this, today, tomorrow, it doesn't really matter. It'll let the direct will likely be about games. It will have game announcements that it's either games that are from that are announced from smaller developers and publishers. And then when it comes to the more major stuff, majority of it is going to be games we already knew about. That is to say that we could get one or two major new announcements from the big N. But I must but I must state that this is a leak. So please take this with a grain of salt. And if a direct doesn't happen this June 9th, then you can just look forward to the rest of the month of June or the rest of the year, considering that Nintendo fans probably have patience in their arsenal. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, now it's time to get into the meat of this video. My signature predictions, which, of course, as usual, we're starting with the Nintendo stuff. Not the Nintendo stuff, the non-Nintendo stuff. First order of business is the major third-party stuff, and these are just pipe dreams. Like the first three are just pipe dreams. Sonic is the only surefire shot we have. That being said, there is a new Rayman game coming out, and it was announced at the State of Play this past Thursday. That being Rayman Legends Retold. Of course, I say new, it's just really a reimagining of Rayman Legends from 2013. Yeah, 13 years ago. Feel old? I certainly do. I wonder how many times that joke has been made on the internet. Anyways, um, maybe we can expect Nintendo saying, "Oh, Rayman Legends coming to Switch 1 and Switch 2, but probably only Switch 2 because the Switch 1 it's probably getting ready to be put out to the pasture." So yeah, Sonic and Rayman are like the only two major third-party games that I can think of off the dome. Like any major third-party IPs that I can think of off the dome that will have any major announcement, that will have any major partaking in this direct. Now, frankly, um, I'll mention this later, but there is a very good possibility that these just get brought up in the direct and they are announced at Summer Games Fest. So that's a possibility. It's also a possibility for second slot on this list, that being indie games and other stuff. You may be noticing that I put Kingdom Hearts 4 in this section, and that's because we have not had an announcement for that game since God knows when. And people are wondering, specifically Kingdom Hearts fans, are wondering what happened? What's happening with it? Maybe this will be the first Kingdom Hearts game that comes to a Nintendo console and launches on a Nintendo console from day one, but I wouldn't count on it. The other stuff is usually just like indie developers getting their time to shine for a little bit, and also unknown third party, like lesser known third party developers also having their games showcased, and also the staple tie-in games where corporations contract um, low-grade video game developers, mostly Game Mill, to make games based off IP, based off popular IPs that didn't start out as games. This is why these two are here. Also, I don't know if Gigabash has released on the Nintendo Switch yet, but if it has, then new Godzilla game, please. If not, please, please put Gigabash on Nintendo Switch or like Nintendo Switch 2. Now, before we end this segment, I just want to talk about why I put Jurassic World Evolution 3 here and also why still Jurassic World Evolution 2 is here. That's because that usually, and I mean and usually, and I mean by like this only happened one time. The evolution games usually, when they're done with all their content updates, they usually get a complete edition, and it's then that complete edition is then ported over to consoles that didn't have the game. The only instance of this happening is Jurassic World Evolution 1 Complete Edition being released on Switch 1. So I can kind of expect that they would announce that there be a Jurassic World Evolution 2 Complete Edition releasing for Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, most likely Switch 2 for the obvious. Evolution 3 Complete Edition coming to Switch 2 or Switch 1, that is not going to happen till 2029 or 2030 because it's just receiving its first content updates. Assuming that there are content updates happening, but we won't get into that. Anyways, those announcements could happen at Summer Games Fest and then just come up in the Nintendo Direct as filler for, well, for the mate for, well, to just pad out the Direct. Now we get to the first party Nintendo stuff. And starting us off is an update on the new Fire Emblem game. If any of you know my character, which probably most of you don't, I hate this series with a passion. Reason why? Smash Bros. No further explanation needed. And yeah, uh, yeah, a new Fire Emblem game is coming out this year. We don't know the release date, and we don't really know a lot about the game, which is why I am putting my money. Not this is a metaphor. I'm putting my money that this will be the first game showcased at this hypothetical June 9th Direct, and we will get more details about it in that Direct, at the beginning of that Direct. Now, this is typically a pattern with Nintendo where a game that doesn't really have that much information and is just so happens to be a really big game will will not will typically headline or be the first game showcased at the next Direct. This is really just following on previous patterns, but I would bet that this will probably be the first game that is showcased at this hypothetical June Direct. Anyways, next up is one of them pipe dreams, one of those rare new announcements that I mentioned previously. A new Kid Icarus game, or just a port of Uprising. The series has been MIA since Uprising, and yeah, no further explanation there. Now, of course, the question is Sakurai going to be involved with this, even though he's like a bit busy with Kirby Air Riders and possibly other stuff? But I wouldn't put it out. I wouldn't, okay, I would not put it, put down the idea that Sakurai, while working on Air Riders, just oversaw a remastered Switch 2 port of Uprising. I mean, I think that's a very realistic outcome here, but really, this is kind of just a pipe dream to get a new Kid Icarus game or have a Kid Icarus game of any kind out there. But hey, Uprising is criminally underrated. It is probably one of the best games on the 3DS. It definitely deserves a big HD port. And overall, if it means that we can get a new Kid Icarus game in the long run, then yeah, yeah, I would generally welcome this announcement with open arms. Next up is God, I'm just beating a dead horse with this one. Nintendo, I am begging you, please give us proper Mario Party Jamboree DLC. And I'm not talking about like, oh, Jamboree TV counted as Mario Party's Jamboree's DLC. No, it did not. That was the Switch 2 edition. I'm talking about actual DLC. Like new characters, new mini games, possibly ones ported over from Superstars, new boards, also possibly ones ported over from Superstars. and just possibly also new online stuff or something like that to do. Anyways, the fact is the series has not had proper DLC in, well, never. It's never had proper DLC. So maybe you could add add the boards from Superstars and some of the 100 mini games from Superstars. Also, just ignore that Western Land is here because, well, you know. Anyways, it'd be really nice if we got Jamboree DLC, but keeping on this Mario trend, a more likely DLC that I see is Mario Kart World. Now, there were rumors in the past, and when I mean the past, I mean like a couple months ago, like 1 or 2 months ago, about Mario Kart World possibly getting DLC. Tomorrow is the game's 1 year anniversary, so I mean, assuming Nintendo is not going to be holding out on this DLC for the same amount of time that it took 8 Deluxe to get DLC, um, yeah, I would really love it if like we got uh, DLC for this game because from what I've heard, it's really good. And um, what to expect from it? Well, new courses, new drivers, possibly new side modes, mm, new carts, possibly. Also, quick thing to note here: the new tracks thing would kind of be a problem because of how Mario Kart World is structured. Now, there are two ways that they can fix this. One, expand the pre-existing world map, which seems like a very realistic but also unrealistic option. But then there's the more agreed upon option of them just adding a second world map, but then that would cause trouble with the whole traversal aspect of the game. Yet again, I think they would be able to pull it off somehow. It's been a year, so Mario Kart World DLC. I mean, it's highly unlikely that this would get revealed at Summer Games Fest, would it? It feels like direct worthy material. Anyways, next up is Legend of Zelda stuff. The Imprisoning War Hyrule Warriors game. I don't know if any people remember it or still play it, but yeah, the last time anything major Zelda happened was a year ago. Well, less than a year ago. And even then, the last mainline Zelda game was Tears of the Kingdom, which is already 3 years ago. Anyways, the most popular rumor for a time was that remastered versions of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess would be coming to the Switch and now by proxy Switch 2. But with Wind Waker being on GameCube NSO, the rumor is now that there is going to be a remaster slash remake of Ocarina of Time instead, similar to the Star Fox reboot that is going to be happening in like a few days, weeks. Mr. Editor, please show the release date of the new Star Fox game because I didn't include Star Fox in this slideshow. Anyways, next up is Pokemon stuff. Pretty self-explanatory. Gen 10 had been announced for Switch 2 on in the Pokemon Direct this February. We haven't heard about Wind and Waves since. So this would be a direct that they would possibly reveal it. Will possibly give more information on it. I would also bet this being the first game they talk about. This and Fortune's Weave, but it's really a toss up. But also note, I won't be able to show my reaction to this if yet again if this direct is happening and if it happens, I will react to it. There will be a reaction video. Um, um, yeah. Um, I can't show you my reaction to this because the first time I did a Nintendo Direct React video, when I tried to upload the footage, the video got flagged for copyright because, and lo and behold, it was because Pokemon. It was literally the first thing that they showed, and honestly, yeah, so I had to cut that segment out. Um, and yeah, so if Pokemon has any presence in this hypothetical direct, yeah, you won't be able to see my reaction to it because copyright. Anyways, another thing that I'm pretty sure will be brought up in this Nintendo Direct is updates to NSO. Most likely, this will be revealing the next batch of GameCube games that will be coming to GameCube NSO. But if we're going to get really ambitious and say that they're possibly going to reveal the next Nintendo console that they're going to be bringing to NSO, because the last the last one they did was the GameCube. The GameCube they brought to NSO. So then that logically leaves only 4 Nintendo consoles left before they officially run out of consoles to port to NSO. So going in release order after the GameCube is the Nintendo DS. Don't need to explain why this would be so much of a pain in the behind to port to NSO. I mean, this pretty much explains it. Anyways, last prediction I have for you guys, and this is literally the the biggest hail mary out there, 0 to none prediction out there that frankly it would be a miracle if I got this right. Smash 6. Now, it's been 5 years since Ultimate's DLC wrapped up, and it's almost been 8 years since Ultimate released. So they gotta be cooking something. And I know that there are rumors out there that are saying, "Oh, they're just gonna go with a Switch 2 edition of Ultimate, add like 3 new characters and 2 new stages." No, it would just seem as just cheap and lazy, and also, well, it would be obvious that they're still biding time to try and convince Sakurai to come back to do a Smash 6. But honestly, Smash 6 is, even just disregarding all that, it is a very out there prediction. Like, I would bet money on Kirby getting a new game in the next in this new direct than there being a Smash game being announced. Like, but yet again, it's on here, and yeah. If I get this wrong or right, it will definitely be wrong. But hey, It's a prediction, and it's based in nothing but imagination, like the rest of these predictions. But hey, that's just how predictions work. But anyways, that'll do it for this signature Skrill Boys TGDM Bids Nintendo Direct predictions video trademark. Um, anyways, yeah, do all the usual YouTube things: like, comment, subscribe, share, um, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Next time will probably be when I react to this hypothetical June Direct. Yet again, take this all with a grain of salt. Um, yeah, yeah. Long live the Skrells. Bye bye.